Okay, it's done. Okay, so Arvind is also here. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So so we start with the problem that uh, a matching where we that we obtain from the Gale-Shapley algorithm where main proposed is a main optimal matching.
Sir,
That
I
we are
cannot see your screen.
You can't minimize. Wasn't it shared? Sorry, I mean, let's make. Now I
It
think
was
it is,
shared before, but now, yeah, now I can see it again.
Yeah,
Now
now you can see it. Now you can see it.
now everything is fine. Okay. Okay, so the now we okay, so let's start again. The matching that we obtain from the Gale-Shapley algorithm, where the main proposed is a main optimal matching, that we are going to prove first. Okay, to prove that we will have to know some notations. So I typed it because it will be better, easier to read if I write it. So first of all, we have a valid partner. So what is a valid partner? So one thing we know that for a given stable matching instance, we may have a more than one stable matching. So the solution for a stable matching problem may not be unique. So how can we see that? We will see it in details when we know about rotations in the later in the class. But for now, you can see that when men propose and women accept, then we get a main optimal matching. I mean, we get one matching, and when women propose and men accepts or reject, then we get another matching. Those two matchings may not be the same. They may be the same, but they may not be also the same. They will not be same always. That's why. Yeah.
So I have a question. So when in the algorithm every man proposes, then we getting a man optimal matching. And when a woman proposes, we are getting woman optimal matching, right?
Woman optimal matching, yes. So basically, I'm going to prove that fact now, that when the men propose, the matching that we get, that is a man optimal matching. Okay. So first of all, for that, first we need to know what is a valid partner. So a pair of M, W is called a valid partner if M and W are matched in some rank maximal matching. Okay. There will exist a rank maximal matching where M and W are partners. Then M and W are called valid partner. Okay.
What do you mean by rank maximal matching?
Oh, sorry. Stable matching. Sorry, I'm making mistakes today. Sorry, stable matching.
Basically, if there exists a stable matching in which M, W is an edge of the matching.
There exists a stable matching instance where M, W is a M, W is a matched edge.
Is a matched edge. Yeah. Then we call they are valid partners.
Yeah, we call them the valid partners. Okay. And what is the best valid partner? So suppose M is there, and there is like W1 is one of his valid partner, W2 is one of his valid partners, such that WK. They are all valid partners, and there are some not valid partners in between. Then W1 will be called his best valid partner. Why? Because W1 has the best rank among all the valid partners. Okay. So
basically, out of all valid partners of M, the one having the highest rank is the best valid partner.
Exactly. Is the best valid partner. Okay. And what is the definition of a man optimal matching? A man optimal matching is a matching that matches each man to his best valid partner. In other words, best. So we can denote this best valid partner as best M. Okay. So a matching is called a man optimal matching if each man is paired with best M in S. So it is clear, I guess, what is the man optimal matching. Okay, so
we previously gave an alternate definition of man optimal matching. It is different out of all those stable matchings, the matching in which every man is getting a woman as a partner with the highest preference among all possible stable matchings. So
that's what we are doing here, right? So what is the best valid partner? A best valid partner is among all the stable matchings, M is getting the best partner he can get in a stable matching, right?
Okay.
So that is the best valid partner. And here I'm just saying that a matching where every man gets his best valid partner is the man optimal matching. So can you see the, I mean, the definitions are exactly the same, actually. Sorry, someone wrote. Okay. Okay, so I think it's clear what is a man optimal matching. Now, the the matching that we get from the Gale-Shapley algorithm is a man optimal matching that we are going to prove. Okay, so let's go by the proof sketch. So first of all, there is a matching M that is obtained by the, suppose the matching is M that is obtained by the Gale-Shapley algorithm, and there is one man who is not paired with his best valid partner. Okay, that means suppose the man is M. Suppose the man is, let me write over here. Suppose the man is M, then M will have this best M over here, and after that some how did I define it here? Just one moment. So some valid partner. Suppose for now, let's call it W star. So there is one matching. So in the Gale-Shapley, the matching that we obtain from the Gale-Shapley algorithm, there is one man M who is not matched with his best partner, best valid partner, but is matched with someone who is worse than his best valid partner. That is, for now, let's define it as W star. Okay. Then we call we know that Gale-Shapley algorithm is like a goes on iteration, and in each iteration, basically one man proposes to a woman, and the woman either accepts or rejects that man, right? So let's call the event X as the event where, for the first time, and since M is not matched with best M, so there is one iteration where best M when M proposed to best M and the best M rejected M, right? And let's call event X as the iteration where, for the first time, some man proposed to his best valid partner and his best valid partner rejected him. So event X is clear, right? And now we know that since W is the best valid partner of M, that means M and W will be matched and suppose that man is M and he is rejected by his best valid partner W, and W basically rejects M to get matched with someone better than M. So I think drawing the picture will make it clear, right? So suppose there is this M is there, and W is his best valid partner, and basically M proposed to W, and W basically rejected M. So that means W will basically gets matched with someone better than M. That we know from the Gale-Shapley algorithm, because W has rejected M, and M, since M is rejected by W, so M is matched with someone worse than W, that is, suppose W prime. Now what we do is,
Sorry, is W prime M's partner in S, or is it the one he proposes to after?
W prime is the M's partner in S.
In S, okay.
Yeah. So what we do here, is we check what is the we check the preference list of M prime, and we check if W comes before W prime in M prime's preference list, or W prime comes before W. Okay, so we basically check the preference list of M prime now. So if we check the preference list of M prime, what we get? So just one moment. So I think I messed up a little bit the proof. There is a stable matching M prime where W is paired with M. Okay. Okay, sorry, I made a mistake. So can you start again? So the line of proof will be a little bit different. So let's go to a fresh page and okay, let's start. Let's do it here. Okay. So what I wanted to say is M is there and W is his best valid partner. Okay. So M is not matched with W. That means W is matched with basically W is his best M. W equal to best M, and W is not matched with M because W rejected M. That means W is matched with someone better than M. That is M prime, and W prefers M prime over M. Now there exists a matching where M and W is matched because W is M's best partner, and in that particular matching, M prime is matched with some other W prime. Okay, so is the construction clear now? So it's little bit different, not exactly the same. So W prime is the partner of M prime in the other matching where M is matched with W. Okay, now we are going to check the preference list of M prime. So in the preference list of M prime, we will check if M prime prefers W over W prime. That means in his preference list, W comes before W prime, or W prime comes before W. So which one of these two is correct? Okay. So now at the time of event X, we know that is the first time when someone is rejected by his best valid partner. That means M prime has not been rejected by his best valid partner yet.
I have a question. So what is the best valid partner of M prime?
That we don't know yet.
Okay.
So I'm just saying that M prime has not been because M is the at the time iteration X, M is the first man who gets rejected by his best valid partner. That means M prime or any other man has not been rejected by his best valid partner yet. Okay. So that means he has not been rejected by especially by W prime, because W prime is one of his valid partners. So he has not been rejected by W prime yet at the time at the iteration X. Also, one more thing.
So we just know that M prime has not been rejected by his best partner, but W prime is not the best partner of M prime, correct?
Yeah.
So then W prime could have rejected M prime even before X.
No. Because everyone proposes to his best partner always, right? That is available. So M prime has not proposed to W prime. If M prime will first propose to his, if M prime has not proposed to W prime, then W prime will not reject or accept him, right? I mean, for W prime to reject or accept M prime first has to propose her, right?
Propose to the, okay, I see, okay.
And every man proposes to his best partner always.
Before W prime, okay, I see.
And the best valid partner is always have a better rank than any valid partner.
Okay,
so
I see.
M prime has not proposed to W prime yet.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so now it's clear that M prime has not proposed to W prime yet. Okay, and the second thing is, since W rejected M, that means W has been already partnered with M prime, right? And that means M prime has proposed to W, and W has rejected. W has accepted M prime, and that means the first preference list will be correct, not the second one, because M prime has proposed to W. That means M prime has been rejected by everyone before W, and currently M prime and W are partners, and W prime and M prime and W prime has not rejected M prime. So combining these two, it is clear that M prime in the preference list of M prime, W has better rank than W prime. Is the proof clear, or do you want me to repeat it once?
Can you just repeat what M prime means? So I'm not seeing why M prime and W prime, why M prime and W are matched at stage X. I'm not getting that point.
Because okay, so okay, let's start from the proof of this claim again. Okay, so the first thing is that M prime has not proposed to W prime yet. Why? Because M prime has not been rejected by his best partner yet, best valid partner yet. So that means M prime has not been rejected by any of his valid partners yet. So that means, and since we know that M prime W prime is a valid partner in the matching where MW is matched, that means M prime has not been rejected by W prime yet. Okay. So first thing is M prime has not been rejected by W prime. The second thing is W has rejected M, right? Because W had a better partner, that is M prime.
So M prime is defined to be the partner of W at stage X, is it?
It's not defined. So it comes as a conclusion, right? Because I have assumed, I have assumed that W has rejected M at iteration X.
Yeah.
That means W was paired with someone else at that time. Otherwise, W will not. Yeah. And that someone else, we have assumed that to be M prime.
Yeah. So M prime is supposed to be the man who is paired with W at X.
Yeah, at
okay.
Event X.
Okay.
And since M prime is partnered with W at that time, what does that mean? M prime has been rejected by everyone before W.
Yes.
So second thing is M prime is rejected by everyone before W. Okay, so combining these two, what can we say? M prime, if we check the preference list of M prime, he has been rejected everyone before W already, and W prime has not rejected M prime yet. So W prime must be after W in the preference list of M prime.
Yes.
Is it clear? Is it clear to everyone? Okay, so if it is fine, then the next line is if M prime prefers W. Okay, sorry, here it will be W over W prime. It will not be the opposite. And if this is true, then we say that W M prime basically blocks the matching M prime. That is the other matchings where MW is matched. Okay. Just one moment. Okay. So it will be M prime prefers W over W prime. That is correct. And after that, let's add a control D. So add a page. So proof of the next part is W and M prime basically blocks capital M prime. Okay. So if we check the preferences here, so we have M and W, and next we have W has partnered one partner M prime, and M prime has a has one W prime. Okay. Now we know that W prefers M over M prime over M, and M prime prefers W over W prime. And that means in the matching where M comma W and M prime comma W prime are matched, M prime comma W is a blocking pair. Okay. So this is the line 6 of this, the point 6, that W and M prime blocks the matching, the other matching. Okay. So is the proof clear, or do you I think some part may not be clear. So you can just point me which part is not clear. I can explain that to you. Or do you want me to go over it quickly one more time?
Sir, what is the blocking pair? I seem to have forgotten.
Okay.
What is a blocking pair?
Okay, so a blocking pair is a edge, unmatched edge. So suppose we have a matching. We are given an instance and we have a matching. Okay, and suppose there is an unmatched edge M comma W, such that M, the partner of M, is suppose W prime, and partner of W is suppose M prime. The curly edges are in the matching and the straight edges are not in the matching. And now M comma W will be a blocking pair if M prefers W over W prime, and W prefers M over M prime. In that case, what happens? W and M can break their current ties and get matched with each other, and both of them will be happier.
Okay.
So this,
okay.
this was the definition of the blocking pair. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, if it is clear, then okay. So do you want me to go over this proof one more time? And
Yeah, can you just go over it once? That will...
yeah, great. So what do we want to prove? The Gale-Shapley algorithm, where the men propose and the women accepts or rejects, produces a man optimal matching. Okay. So first of all, we have a matching. Suppose M is the matching that we obtain from the Gale-Shapley algorithm. Okay. And where there exists a man who is not paired with his best valid partner, then what will happen? He must be paired with a valid partner who comes after his best valid partner in his preference list. Okay. Now, sorry, there is some noise outside. Okay. So suppose there is an event X. What is the event X? Is the iteration where for the first time a man was rejected by his best valid partner. Okay. And let's call that man as M. M is the first man who got rejected by his best valid partner. And let's call that woman as W, which is best M. And since W rejected M, that means W will be with someone who is better than M. And we call that vertex as M prime. Okay. So we what do we have till now? We have a M and W who is his best valid partner. But W rejected M, that means W is currently matched with some other M prime who W prefers more than M. Okay. Now there exists, since M and W is the best valid partner of M, that means there will exist some other matching M prime where M comma W is matched, belongs to M prime. Okay. And let's say that the partner of M prime in that particular matching is W prime. And let's say, sorry, is also belongs to M prime. Okay. So now what we do first? We check what is the preference list of M prime. I mean, does W comes before W prime in the preference list of M prime, or W prime comes before W in the preference list of M prime? Okay, which one of these two is correct? So what we do is, now we check, we do this proof 5. So in this proof, there are like 2 points. The first point is M prime. So M is the first vertex who gets rejected by his best valid partner. That means M prime has not been rejected by his best valid partner at the iteration X. And that means M prime has not been rejected by any of his valid partner, because the best valid partner will have the best rank among all the valid partners. So the first thing is here, the M prime has not been rejected by W prime during the iteration X. And the second point is, since M has been rejected by W, that means at iteration X, W and M prime were matched at that moment. At iteration X, M prime and W were matched. And that means M prime was rejected by everyone before W. So if we consider the, let's erase this part once and I will write it again. If we consider the preference list of M prime, in the preference list of M prime, we have some vertex and then we have a W, but at iteration X, everyone before W got rejected by, everyone before W rejected M prime. So W is, that's why the M prime and W are currently matched. And W prime has not rejected M prime yet. So W prime must be after W. It cannot be before W, because everyone before W has been rejected, has rejected M prime. So that means in the preference list of M prime, W comes before W prime. And that means in this particular graph, okay, so let's complete this and after that we will finish. Okay, so in this particular graph, W comes before W prime. Okay, now we can see that here M prime and W, they basically prefer each other over their current, basically prefer each other. And if we consider the matching M prime, in the M prime matching, these two edges gets matched. And in the matching M prime, capital M prime, small m prime, comma W, they basically prefer each other over their current partners. And that means small m prime, comma W is a blocking pair. Is it clear?
Yes, thanks. Now it's clear.
Okay, any question? Any more questions here? Okay, so if there is no more question, so we had another question, that is like, what can be the maximum number of stable matchings given an instance? So there is an example where the solution is basically 2 to the power n minus 1, where n is the I'm not going to show the example right now, because the example will be clearer when we complete the rotation part. And after the rotation part, I'll show you the example. Show you the example where show you the instance where there are like 2 to the power n minus 1 stable matchings. Okay, but what is the minimum number of stable matching? Is 1. That is basically unique stable matching. So I will give you an example here. So let's say there are 4 men, and each of them has the same preference list. And suppose there are 4 women also. Okay, can anyone tell me what is the main optimal stable matching here? I mean, you can try to compute it and tell me. So you know the Gale-Shapley algorithm. So the instance is clear, right?
So if we let man one propose first, then he'll get proposed to, let's say, he'll get accepted by woman one.
Yeah. So
because he will start there.
I'll also color it. Okay. So man one will get proposes to W1, and so the first woman, and they gets currently matched, and after that.
Yeah. Then let's say the next free man is 2. So now 2 proposes to 1, but 1 rejects 2 because 1 is already matched to someone better.
Exactly.
So then the next free man is again 2, and then 2 propose to 2 and then get matched to 2.
Yeah. And again.
Then 3. Now 3 propose to 1, gets rejected, again to 2, gets rejected, then to 3. And then 3 is free, so 3 accepts. And
yeah. And then?
So now we have only 4 is free. So now 4 proposes to 1, get rejected. All of them reject 4, and then 4 accept.
So this
so
is a main
no free man.
Yeah, so this is a main optimal matching, right? Main optimal matching. And what is a woman optimal matching? So if we propose from the same from the woman's side, won't it be the same because the preferences list are basically the identical, the table for men and women?
Yeah.
So it will be same, and that means in this case the main optimal matching and the women optimal matching are the same. So I think there was a question like that in the chat. Okay, so so this will be the instance, one of the instance where the man optimal matching and the woman optimal matching are the same. So what can we say from here? We can say from here that there is a unique stable matching. Can you see? Why can we say that?
So for that, we'll have to show that man optimal is women pessimal.
We don't need to show that. So one thing we can show that we already know that is there is no matching where I mean the matching that the Gale-Shapley algorithm gives is a man optimal matching. That means if there exists any other stable matching, every man will prefer the matching that they obtain from the Gale-Shapley to that other matching, right? And that means no woman, for example here, that means no man, there will not exist any stable matching where 2 prefers 1 or 3 prefers 1 or 2 or 4 prefers 1, 2 or 3, right? So in every other stable matchings, one will prefer every other stable matching that will be.
We can go from below. Yeah, 4 has to be matched to 4 and 3 has to be matched.
Yeah, and on the other side also you can see that every woman can I mean if we compute it from the woman optimal side also, the man will get the same choices. So there will, and you can prove that any man who won't get any choice, I mean there won't exist any matching, any stable matching where a man gets worse than his man pessimal matching. Okay, so everything will be better than that. So that means it can be only 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to do it from the both sides. From the man optimal side, you can see that the best matching that he is getting is the same as the worst matching he can get. So that combining these two, every matching, I mean, every matching must be inside the best matching and the worst matching, the main optimal matching and the main pessimal matching. And since main optimal and the main pessimal matching are the same, that's why it will be the only matching. Is this the only case where main optimal? No, there can be other cases. I mean, you can create many examples. I mean, actually, you can. What you can do is you can take any instance and you can modify that instance by removing some. I mean, when we go to that stable matching with incomplete list, there we will see that you can take any instance and you can delete some edge from the women's side, and you can make the matching as a unique matching. Okay, so we'll come to that. Sorry, I did not get your next question. How many different instances can we? So it will be how many instances there can be, like so all the permutations for each man we can have all the permutations. That will be the number of instances for each man and each woman. So for the first man we have n instances, I mean n choices, or n factorial. Yeah, n factorial, and for each of them we have n factorial. Okay, so less than 1 minute left, so I will stop this meeting and I will start it again quickly. Okay, please join. Thank you. Okay, so let's start with this problem. So can you see, or do you need to? I think I need to share the screen again. I stop the sharing. Okay, so is it visible? And everything is fine now, right? Recording is going on and screen sharing is on.
Yes.
Okay, so suppose M is a main optimal matching. So what you will do is you will say that there will exist a, suppose there exists a W. You start in a similar contradiction way. There exists a W such that I mean that is the matching is not the matching that we obtain from GS is not a woman decimal matching. So there will exist some partner who is worse than that particular. So such that her partner in GS algo is not woman decimal. So that means there will exist some other vertex partner of W prime who is worse than her partner in GS algo, and then you will show that. Either there is then you show that M is not a man optimal matching.
So Pratik, I have a question. So in the hint when you're writing that there exists a W such that her partner. So by we mean her partner in M, right? Her partner
in M, in GS algo. Yeah, in GS algo, by GS algo. Okay, so in M.
In M, yeah, in M. Okay.
By GS algo is not a woman decimal, and then you show that M is not a man optimal by showing that there will exist a blocking pair if M is a man optimal matching. Okay. So is the hint enough or?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So if indeed such a partner exists, W, which is not, whose partner means if indeed there exists a woman W whose partner is not, means which is not woman decimal in M, then I think that M cannot be a stable matching. So that will contradict the fact that M is man optimal. Means I am not telling the proof, but I am telling the idea. Means is it?
Yeah. It will be similar like that. Basically, what will happen that you will see that M will not be a woman man optimal matching, because there will the small M, he will basically prefer someone better than his man optimal partner.
Exactly, yeah.
So that will be the.
So basically, there will be a blocking pair. actually.
Yeah. So you can try to complete this proof, and in the next class, on Saturday, if you want, you can, or not Saturday, on Tuesday by Tuesday, you can send me the proof by, either writing in a page and taking a picture of it, or like writing in LaTeX. Whichever option you prefer. Okay. Is it fine?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So after we complete this thing, the next point that we want to see is, okay. So this will I'll come later. Okay. So the next thing that we want to work with is, it's called rotation. Okay, so first of all, what we have done till now, we have applied the Gale-Shapley algorithm to get a main optimal matching and a women optimal matching. But there can be more than, many more stable matchings. Okay, so how can we obtain those stable matchings? So we basically use a rotation technique to basically get those stable matchings. So before we go to the rotation, so how many of you are familiar with lattice structures? So is everybody familiar with lattice, or
Is it like a partial order, or
yeah,
is there any...
from the partial order set?
Yeah, I just know what partial order is, but if lattice is same as that, then I'm fine.
Okay, so basically, okay, so let me go over this partial order also quickly. So partial order or poset is basically partial order set. So basically, we have a set P, and
So basically, partial order is a relation which is reflexive, antisymmetric, and transitive.
exactly. And for all three elements A, comma B, comma C in P, this is reflexive. The antisymmetric is so this is transitive. Oh, sorry. That implies and third is antisymmetric. Okay, so I think I'm just going quickly revising this thing. So one example can be P can be taken as all the natural numbers, and
so I have a question. So can you visualize a poset structure by a directed graph?
Yes. So that that we can do by taking the edge from the smaller element to the big. For A and C, we can have an edge to A, from A to C, right?
And it will be acyclic, right?
Sorry. Yeah, and it
The
will
graph
be
will be acyclic also. Right?
Yeah, it will be a directed acyclic tag. Okay, so we can say that if and only if A precedes B, if and only if A divides B. So it will be, I think, this is the notation, right? A divides B, or it is.
I think this is opposite. Yeah. Means A will be on the left side, B on the right side.
Okay. So basically, A is 3 and B is 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So this is a example of the poset, right? Can you see that they basically satisfy all the conditions? Basically, A divides A, And if A divides B and B divides C, then A also divides C. And if A divides B and B divides A, then A and B are equal. A will be equal to B. So it's an example of a poset. Okay. And a partially ordered set is called a lattice if every finite set of elements has a join and a meet in that partial order. Okay.
So what do you mean by join and meet?
And that I'm going to define in a moment. Just
Okay.
By join, I mean that the minimum is the supremum, like a minimum upper bound. Okay. So for example, if we take two elements 3 and 4, then the minimum upper bound here is 12, the LCM of them. So when you construct this, so in another way you can see that when you construct the directed graph, then
basically both the join and the meet must belong to the finite set, right?
Yeah, must belong to that set also. Yeah. Okay.
So basically what do you mean is if we take any finite set, say A1, A2, AK, so there will exist an element, say AI, such that every other AJ will be less than or equal to AI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So from that A1 to AK.
So that may be a maximum.
Yeah. Can you repeat it once? Sorry, I did not get. I don't know. I guess.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that so if I take any finite set of elements, say A1, A2, AK.
Yeah.
There will exist an element in that finite set, such that every other element in that set will be less than or equal to that particular element.
That will be the bounded lattice. That is like when it is bounded. Like so in this particular example, there is no no such element, right? That every element is smaller than that. The example that we have.
I mean, the maximum doesn't have to be in the set, correct? It could be outside.
Sorry?
The maximum, the join does not have to belong to the finite set.
Join has to belong to the finite set. Join is basically for a partial order set. It's like a supremum, the least upper bound.
Yeah,
Yes, sir,
so
but
like
it may not be in the supremum of the set we are considering. Whose supremum we are taking? It may not be in that.
Yeah, that's what I think.
It will be in the poset, but may not be in the.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
it has to be
yeah. Of course. It should only be in the poset.
Yeah.
For example, 3 and 4. If you take two elements, then the minimum supremum. The supremum here is 12, right?
Yeah.
But for 3 and 6, the supremum is 6. So
yeah,
the supremum may not be in the set. So it looks like this.
So basically, if we take the set consisting of 3, 4, that is not a lattice.
Just one moment, isn't it? Because okay, so it is not a lattice. Yeah, it is not a lattice because it doesn't
I think every finite set actually will have a supremum and infimum in this example. But the point is that if the supremum and infimum both belong to the set, then we can say it's a lattice.
Yeah. The supremum and infimum should be in the set. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I think I messed up a little bit, but yeah, that's what I wanted.
Consisting of 3, 6 is a lattice.
Yeah, 3, 6 is a lattice, but The set
3,
consisting of
4
3 is not a lattice.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I think it's clear right now, right? Okay. Is it clear or any question?
So that's the join, and meet is defined similarly in
Meet is the minimum
yeah,
infimum.
okay. Yeah, then it's clear.
So for 3 and 4, the infimum will be 1. But for 3 and 6, the infimum will be 3.
Also, I have a question. The underlying set from which you are starting, that set can be infinite, right?
That set can be infinite. So here in this example, we have the infinite set.
Okay. But it should be countable.
It should be, yeah, I think it should be countable.
Countable, yeah.
So R is not countable. No.
No, R is not countable. Yeah. But R also have the same property. No, it shouldn't be countable. It can be uncountable. Yeah.
So basically, the set P can be uncountable.
Yeah, the underlying set can be uncountable. For example, in the complex number settings, you don't have any order. So, but here you have this ordering. So you can have in there for the real number, you can have the orderings, and you have the ordering, so you can have this partial order set.
But sir, in complex number setting, we can define an order that is called dictionary order.
But that's not a field order. It is. I mean it. Yeah, you can define order. But...
Yeah. Okay, so you want to maximize.
I think in case of uncountable cases, the definition of join and meet will be fairly bit means.
Sir, but we are not interested in uncountable case. I think.
Yeah, means we can actually it is countable.
We work on even bounded case.
Yeah.
So it will not be a problem. So I have to read this lattice structures more in details to explain your points. But yeah, R is a lattice. I mean R with the. So if you take R with the A less than equal to B, if and only if A is smaller than B, it's a lattice, right? It's basically a chain.
Yes, and it's also a complete lattice because any bounded set has upper bound.
Yeah. And yes. So okay, so let's forget this now. And so the thing I want to say is the set of all stable matchings, they actually makes a lattice, forms a lattice. Okay. So the thing I'm going to write now, the set of all the stable matchings form a lattice. So before we show
what is the poset structure here,
yeah, that I'll come now. So before we go to the lattice structure, we have to see how can we define the partial order here. Okay, so suppose there is M and M prime. Okay, so we say M precedes M prime if and only if for each man, small m in capital M, sorry, everything is for each man, okay, the partner for each man, M prefers his partner in M to his partner in M prime. Okay. So basically for each man, he will prefer basically his partner in the matching M to the matching M prime. If it happens, then we say that M basically dominates M prime or M precedes M prime. So this will be the partial order. Okay. And what will be the join here? So if we denote it as this, and here what will you do is for each M, we pick the better partner from M and M prime. So basically, for each man, we basically pick the better partner. His partner, you check his partner in M and his partner in M prime, and we pick the better one. Okay, and we do it for each man, and that we call it as M or M logical or M prime.
So is it a matching, by the way, M or M prime?
Yeah, just one moment. Lemma is a stable matching. It's not only a matching, but it's a stable matching.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about the same thing. It will be stable matching. Yeah.
Okay, so I had an example. I don't know where I kept it. So I can show you later maybe. But so in a normal matching instance, the M logical or M prime is not even a matching. Okay, if you take any two matching, but in the stable matching case, it not only it is a matching, but it will be a stable matching. Okay. So Control T. So to prove that, so let's first prove that is a matching. So first we prove that it is a matching.
Can you once again go to the definition of M join M prime?
Yeah. So for each man, we pick the better partner among, I think it will be among.
So it will be from capital M of small m and capital M prime of small m, right?
Yeah. So in other words, we can say that
capital M of small m and M prime of small m.
M or M prime of small m is equal to max means I think better if we consider
better. Yes, exactly, yeah. Okay, it's fine.
Okay, so okay, so first of all, we need to prove it is a matching. Okay, and after that we will prove it will be a stable matching. Okay, so if so, is the joint definition clear to everyone else?
Yes.
Okay, great. So now first we prove M symmetric M join M prime is a matching. So if for a small m, M of M is equal to M prime of M, then it is fine, right? Then M and MM belongs to M symmetric difference M prime. Okay. If let's say that partner of capital M is W in one matching in capital M, and partner in capital M prime is W prime. Okay. And in the preference list of M, it looks like this. W comes before W prime and so on. Okay. What we show that the partner of W.
Sorry, I asked one. So the list which you wrote down, M dot dot dot,
Yeah.
is that for M or M prime? Is
M.
that with this?
So it's the list of
Oh,
M.
sorry. Okay, just man's preference. Okay, fine.
Yeah. So the preference list of M and W comes before W prime. We assume that, suppose, without loss of generality. Okay, so we show that the partner of W in M prime is small m. Okay.
Sir, I think it will be partner of small m in m join m prime is small w.
That we have assumed. And so now we will prove this. We show that. We will show. We will show.
Okay.
Okay. If it is not, one more thing I forgot to tell you. Sorry. Okay, so I have defined the join for the main side of men, but I forgot to define the join function for the on the side of women. So for the women side, the join function will be opposite. In the join function, will be for two women, for a woman, she will basically pick the worst partner among the two men that he has. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what I forgot to tell you. Okay. So if it is not, then what will happen? How will the W's preference list look like? In the preference list, M will come first before his partner in M prime. Why? Because if it is opposite, then the join, in this case, the M or M prime of W is basically M prime of W. And we are assuming that we want to show that W is the partner of W in M or M prime is small n. So to prove it is not, if it is not by contradiction, in that case, the preference list of W will look like this. Is it clear?
So small m is also equal to capital M of W, right?
Yeah, small m is equal to capital M of W. Okay, so now if we observe the preference list of W and M, yeah.
Actually, I have to leave now. I have another class.
Oh, sorry. I mean, oh, sorry. It's already 1:11.
Yeah, actually, it is 1:15 now. That's why.
Okay. So, okay. So I will complete this proof. Do you mind if I complete this proof on Saturday?
No, you complete, because I can watch the video later.
Okay.
I can watch the video, and if I have any doubt, then I can discuss it in Saturday's class.
Yeah. Okay. That is fine with me.
Okay. Bye then.
Okay. Bye. Okay. So if for M, if we look at the preference list of M, then W comes first, and W prime comes afterwards. And what is W? W is basically M of M, and W prime is equal to M prime of M. Okay. So here we can see that in the matching M prime, we have a blocking pair. MW. So that means we have a contradiction that M prime is not a stable matching. And sorry, M prime is not a stable matching, and that will be a contradiction. Is it clear? Or do you want me to explain it? So is it fine if we go till 120? Okay. Everyone else? Are we in then?
Yes, sir. Can you just repeat this part? I'll repeat this one. Yeah.
I'll repeat it now. Okay. So if it is fine, then okay. So let's see. Okay. So what is happening? So we want to prove that M join M prime is a matching. Okay. So for M, if for a man, his partner in both matchings are the same, then that partner will be the same in join also. So if for a man M, W is the partner of M in both capital M and capital M prime, then W will be the partner of small m in M join M prime. Okay, so this part is trivial. So in the next part, what I want to show is, suppose the partner of small m is small w in capital M, but small w prime in capital W prime. And let's assume that W comes before W prime. So then what will be the partner of M in M or M prime? Anyone? What will be the partner?
It'll be small w.
Small w. Okay. Now I want to show that if I check the partner of small w, it will also be small m. Okay. So how to prove that? How do we prove that? So here we say that we'll show that the partner of small w in capital M join capital M prime is small m. So suppose it is not, then if I check the preference list of small w, then M should come before his partner in capital M should come before his partner in capital M prime, because otherwise, if M came after M prime capital M prime W, then the join function will then M prime join M of W would be M, right? So if we don't want that, that means in the preference list of small w, small m must come before capital M prime W. Is this part clear?
Yeah, because if it was the other way around, then
yeah,
W would be paired with M anyways, if you want to
yeah,
show.
So okay, so currently what is the value of this M symmetric difference, not symmetric, M join M prime of W? What is the value of this? It is M prime W right now, right? Because the join function works oppositely in case of women, right?
Yes.
Okay. So after we complete this, so this is the preference list of W. This should be the preference list of W. Okay. Now, if we notice the preference list of W, it looks like this. And if we notice the preference list of M, it looks like this. It is the preference list of W, and this is the preference list of M. Now, if we notice and we know that, okay, let's write it in a different way so it will be clearer. So what is the M of W? It is M, and this is W. Okay, so because so from here and from the preference list of M. Okay, so now if we consider the edge M comma W in the matching M prime, won't it be a blocking pair? Can you see that it is a blocking pair there in the matching M
Yes,
prime?
yes.
Capital M prime?
Because each prefer each other to their partner is in M prime.
Yeah, so what we have now, we have M prime is not a stable matching, but we started with the assumption that M prime was a stable matching. Right?
Yes.
So that means W is the partner of M is the partner of W in M join M prime. And so that means for each man, so what do we know from here? So from each man M, if we take his partner and partner of that, let's write in this way. So if we take a M is a partner of W. If M is the partner of W, that means W will be partner of M2, right? So there is a one-to-one correspondence, and that means it will be a matching, because if suppose M and there is M and W and there is M prime. M is a partner of W, but and M prime is also a partner of W. Then M must be equal to M prime. Otherwise, because W will be equal to M and M prime. I mean the joint function will give us both matchings from this both vertices from this from this lemma, and that means M must be equal to M prime. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the matching part, and for the stable matching part, I'll maybe I'll do it in the next class. So would everybody join me on Saturday? Like Shubham, Arvind, and Tejas.
It's at
Saturday
1
at
o'clock,
1.
right?
Sorry, Saturday at 1.
Yeah, 1 I can join.
Yes.
Yes.
Shubham and Arvind?
Yes. Yeah. I will.
Okay,
I
so
will
then
join.
I will complete this proof and I will try to write it in a proper